Repeat after me. I am beautiful. I am powerful. I am a diamond. Hey Diamond, welcome to our channel. This is Mom Life, It Stays Real. This channel is for those of you who know that life with kids is not easy. If you're a person who just wants to understand why, you are in the right place. Together, we're going to figure out these kids one answer question at a time. Come on, join me. Hello Diamonds, this is Tammy. Welcome back to Mom Life It Stays Real, the place where you can get answers to the questions you have about child development. Hello everybody, how are you doing? I'm Tammy. I just wanted to come to you today and give you a couple of ideas around scheduling. I know with this COVID-19, it's been really hard trying to figure out the new schedule. You were already used to a certain type of routine, taking the kids to school, going to work, picking them up, coming home, and all of that changed. And now you have to get used to a new schedule of them actually being at home, and then you having to homeschool them on top of that and work your own work schedule. So I just wanted to kind of give an idea, especially for those who are homeschooling their children or young children. And maybe this will help, maybe this will help. And if you do decide to kind of take some ideas from the schedule, if you have any questions of how to tweak the schedule that you already have, just let me know and I'll try to help you out with that. So I'm not going to be with you long, so I'm just going to give you some ideas here. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to give you some ideas of what a schedule can look like. Let's try that again. Let's try to pick the right correct one. Okay, so here we go. Here you see a daily schedule. I kind of geared it for the younger kids, maybe 1 year to about 5 or 6, because I did include nap time, but older kids can take a nap too, because you know who nap time is for? Yeah, me. Nap time is for me. I need you to rest so I can take a break. But anyway, we don't present it like that, of course. We want to make sure that they understand that their bodies need a break and they need to rest so their bodies can grow, make it inviting. But we know nap time is for us. So let's take a look at this. At 8 o'clock, getting the kids out of bed. I put here that usually kids wake up earlier, but this is a good time to start the day. The reason why I kind of want to but what I mean by starting the day is like they're already dressed. They already have already woken up, they're just ready to kind of start their day. And which is usually what you do in real life. Most of us have to be at work by 8. So if you want to start developing good habits in your kids, starting them off early, waking up at a certain time each day will get them used to what it means to get ready for your day and be ready at a certain time. For the most part, kids either wake up earlier than this, or depending on when you have them go to sleep at night, they go to sleep later. So they wake up later in the morning. So you want to try to figure out your sleep schedules for them too at night. That will help them to kind of stick to the 8 o'clock getting ready for your day. And also to keep in mind that routine is very important to kids. Having a routine, it makes them feel safe and secure and knowing what comes next. And if you really pay attention to how kids behave, they put themselves on a routine. They have a scheduled time of when they wake up. They get fussy and tired during the day at around a certain time. They get hungry at around a certain time. At night in the late evening, they're getting fussy and sleepy at a certain time. So if we kind of follow their lead as far as when their body is telling them to rest or eat, they pretty much have a set routine, a set schedule just inherently. However, that set routine or schedule usually, or it may not be able, may not work for your own schedule and routine, depending on what time you go to work or what time you have to be at the office or what time they have to be at daycare, whatever the case may be. That's when we have to mold their um, own routine and plug in where we want it to happen. For example, if they, okay, for example, my kids, they share a room. So if they, and I put them to bed 7:30 the latest. If they decide that they want to stay up and play and not fall asleep until 9, they won't wake up on time in the morning for me to have them start their day at 8. So what out, and it happens, it has happened. They go to bed at 9:30 because they're in there playing. And in the morning, I don't hear anything. 7:30, 7:45, nothing. So at 8 o'clock, and if they're not up, I go in there and I wake them up because it's time to wake up. Usually you want to, some people, oh, you have to let them sleep in, they're tired. Mm-mm. You know what's going to happen? The next day they're going to go to sleep earlier. So, but they have to realize that if you wake up, you could stay up at night if you want to, but in the morning you still have to wake up at the same time and do what? Get ready for your day. So these are the type of skills that we want to instill in our kids. You know, it teaches responsibility. It teaches them to kind of self-monitor also, so that they learn cause and effect. If I stay up, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to get tired. I'm going to feel tired in the morning. So, and the other opposite happens too. When I put them to bed and if they fall asleep right away, 7:30, 7:45, they're up like clockwork in the mornings. So, so you want to make sure that the routine that they're getting used to is the one that you want them to get used to. I've heard questions of that my child won't go to sleep until I go to sleep, or they stay up watching TV until 11 or 12. If that's what works for you, you know, that's fine, you know. However, I don't know how you will get time to really like get your own brain together and to think and process your day if the kids are up with you all day long. And it kind of just is more draining on you, and it's draining on them too, because they really need a certain amount of hours to sleep. And I'll do that in another video, just to kind of break down this based on age, how many hours of sleep kids need per day, so to help with their development. So you want to make sure that you allow for that amount of rest for them to get the rest that they need. So here I have at 8 a.m. getting out of bed and getting their day started. Breakfast time between 8 and 9. You know, they're brushing their teeth, you change their clothes, change diapers, whatever it is that you need to do in the morning, bathe them, whatever it is that you need to do with them in the morning, and then feed them breakfast, okay? So then after breakfast, they're fed, they are up, they're ready to go, they're ready to play, and they're ready to learn. So if you're homeschooling them, around 9 o'clock is a good time to just kind of sit down and start your lessons with them. I have 2 specific lessons on the schedule because this is a schedule that I have for our homeschool preschool program. And I suggested to do the language and the math in the morning, do the harder topics, the more difficult topics in the morning when their brain is more up and aware and ready to work. Then you give them a little break. I wouldn't suggest going more than an hour for the younger ones at a time doing their lesson. And the younger they are, I would do less time and give them more breaks. So for example, if you have a 18-month-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, between 9 and 10, they'll probably get like 2 5-minute breaks in while they're doing their lessons, okay? They'll have a snack around 10. and then let them go and play outside if it's possible. If you have, if it's possible, let them go play outside. If not, let them free play indoors and allow them to run, get some energy out, because they have been sitting for about an hour and a half already. So you want to make sure that they're able to go outside and play, and or play freely indoors, just running outside. Indoors, you just do some kind of active activity for them to get their jitters out. Okay, then bring them back together at around 11:30 and do another lesson from 11:30 to 12. Here you're going to have, I put story and creative movement, but whatever lesson that you have for them, do another 30 minutes of that lesson with them right before lunchtime. And it could be a lesson where they do most of the work on their own, and it will give you time to go and prepare for lunch. Okay, those little 30 minutes, go prepare for lunch and get everything ready so that when lunchtime comes, then everything is already set. At noon, you could have lunch, and it's not going to take you an hour to eat. So after lunch, you do a little bit more free play and get them relaxed and quiet down so that they could easily fall asleep to take their nap by 1. Okay, so nap time at 1 is a good time for them to sleep from 1 to 3. About a couple hours, give their little bodies a little rest. If they don't sleep, usually if you get them really, really tired in the morning, especially during that outside free play time, just let all that energy out. They'll get tired enough to fall asleep during nap time. And if you wake them up, even if they're still sleepy, you wake them up at the same time every day, they'll be sleepy enough to go to bed at night at nap time. Okay, so relaxing music, try to close the blinds so not too much sun is coming in. Put them in a quiet space where there's no distractions, no television, anything, just to make it kind of relaxed. In the middle of the day, their bodies will tone down a little bit, and then they will sleep for a couple hours. Once they are asleep during nap, they are going to wake up like around 3 o'clock. So if you allow them some time to rest, wake them up at 3, and they will be able to face the rest of their afternoon without being fussy, without having tantrums, because now they have rested. If you notice that there are certain times when your child gets really fussy and really agitated and they're always whining and crying, and you're still trying to push through your day, just kind of stop and take a look, and maybe they're tired. Maybe they just need to relax. And a lot of as adults, when we are tired, we could lay down and go to sleep sometimes, and sometimes we can't. We need music, or we need to read a book, or we need to stroll through something in order to relax. And kids need the same thing too. They need to be able to relax a little bit and then fall asleep. So if you give them that, it will be a lot easier for them to face the rest of their afternoon. So you have around 3, they'll have their snack. Once they wake up, they'll have their snack, and then do another activity lesson with them for the day. Another lesson of another hour of lessons. You can do arts and crafts, something fun, something exciting, something you don't need as much thinking power to do, just something really relaxing. You know what your lessons are, what it is that they need to learn throughout their day. So give them the easier subjects in the afternoon and the more intense subjects in the morning. Okay? And then let them play again. Let them do free play with their toys, or whatever the case may be. Just don't have them sitting in front of a TV or in front of videos. Just let them play. Have toys available for them that they will be able to to use creatively. You use their creativity and dress up, play with blocks, read a book, whatever the case may be. Just let them play freely. Send them outside if you can. If you have a nice backyard, just allow them to do that, and then bring them back in, wash hands, whatever, potty break, whatever it is, the process is, whatever it is that they were doing, bring them back in so that they could get ready for dinner. Then you sit down all together for dinner, because during free play you would have time to prepare dinner and get it ready for them to eat, right? During free play, you can set out activity buckets. If you don't have the space for them to go outside and play, set out busy activity buckets, busy buckets with items inside of it that they could just go through and play with and stay busy, because they've already spent time with you during the lessons. They've already rested. They've already eaten. So the fussiness should subside. Okay, there shouldn't be any fuss. They should be able to play on their own for a little bit now, because they're not tired, they're not hungry, and they already spent time with you, which is what kids want. So you give them their dinner at around 5:30, and you sit together, you talk about their day, talk about what their lessons they learned, what they learn in their lesson. You talk about what they look forward to doing the next day. Just kind of have conversations with them during dinner time. This is the perfect time to develop language skills and let them talk. Let them talk about what they did and what they didn't like and what they did like. And they learn new words from you as you respond back, and they get to practice the words that they already know. So this is a good time to do that. After dinner, start your bedtime routine, whatever that is. You give them a bath, you give them a shower, you give them milk, whatever your bedtime routine is. You could start it right now after dinner. So you could, what we do is after they finish eating, they play a little bit more, and because around 5:45, they're done eating. So they have a few more minutes before 6:30, and I start my bedtime routine. So they play with their books, they play with their toys, they do what they need to do. So for me, the bedtime routine is I give them a bath, brush their teeth, and then give them some milk. We sing a song, we pray, and we go to bed. And that's the routine that they know every day. And usually if I'm out, like if we're traveling and we're at somebody's house, I try to still keep that routine, because that's when their body knows that, okay, now it's time for me to go to sleep. Sometimes they're really tired, or I may pass their bedtime routine time. Sometimes I'm just busy running around and it's 7:00 and I haven't started their routine yet. And they will let me know, like, are we going to take a bath and go to sleep? I'm just like, oh yeah, just, let's get it together. Sometimes I'm so tired, I'm like, no, you're not taking a bath. I'm just going to change your clothes and sing a song and drink your milk and go to bed. So it depends on your day also. Sometimes you have to be flexible with your schedule, because things happen. But the majority of your days, you want to make sure that your schedule is in a good routine for them. 7:30 bedtime. By 7:30, I'm gonna be in bed, lights out, everybody's in bed. Fall asleep or not, you're in bed. So now I have an 18-month-old and a 3-year-old. Now they're at the age that as soon as I close the door, I promise, I hear them and pop, they get up in their crib and they start laughing and cracking up and they're 18 months and 3 and having conversations, and they're just in there having a good old time when they should be sleeping. But like I told you at the beginning of the video, if they don't fall asleep on time, and that next morning, when it's time to be up, I will knock down the door. I'm not gonna knock on the door. I will walk in through the door and wake them up. So, every once in a while, depending on how loud they get, I'll go in there and tell them to lay down, fix their blankets, go to sleep, blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, if they're pretty quiet, they'll, they'll calm themselves down and they go to sleep. The difference, I have them in the cribs have that, they're like in cribs, so they can't get out and run around the room. So that's a different situation that I have. And then they're in the room on their own. So I'm able to close the door and they don't see what we're doing outside. And that's another thing that is good that I have. So they sit on what you have available. If you have the space for them to have their own room, and close the door, allow that to happen. Even if they don't have their own room and they're sleeping in one room together where you are, just shut the lights out, let them fall asleep before you go in and walk around and, make distractions, whatever the case may be. Just give them that time to kind of relax and fall asleep. And then you do what you have to do. Okay. So, like I said, make sure that your schedule is flexible. This is just some ideas on what you can do, how you can do it. And if you have any questions or comments or any other ideas too, please place them in the comments below and let me know and share them with me, okay? So I hope you have a great Sunday and a better week. And stay blessed, okay? All right, let me stop sharing and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.